We started this week on the server by cleaning up our villager breeding pen. I moved the villagers inside of one of Old Town's houses, which means we can tear down the ghetto fences that they were previously living in outside. Inside the basement of this house will be our evil laboratory for zombie conversion and curing. So I captured a zombie on a minecart and aptly named him Zombificator, as we'll be using him to secure the lowest prices for our future villagers, as well as converting our prior ones. Old Town now has secrets beneath its floorboards. Just like the villagers, and even with our captured friend Grintilda the Witch, Zombificator didn't want to cooperate and initially struggled to get him into a contained space. He broke out, and I wasn't wearing my armor because it has thorns, and I didn't want to punch him to kill him either, and have to capture another zombie. So sadly, because of these facts, I perished. I raced back to Old Town to get my gear, and to my horror, Zombificator had my netherite axe. Now I was a little bit open to killing him as I kind of need that back for chopping wood, and as finding another zombie would be a lot easier than replacing a netherite ingot, mending book, all those enchants and more. My axe has quite the name too, so after he murdered me, I decided that I needed to kill Zombificator the first. But thankfully, Zombificator 2.0 was able to do the job for us, and I began to convert our first villager, which will net us a nice advancement. While waiting for him to cure, I was grabbing more water to make more potions of weakness, as I plan on curing a whole army of villagers, and I saw a glitched Enderman. I really can't explain what's going on here. Unfortunately, the way irony works, when I looked away, the villager was cured. But this was our first conversion, and you would think I would have gotten this advancement sooner with how much I greased the villagers. I want to buckle down and get all of the advancements, hunt down all the ones I'm missing, which motivated me to make this conversion dungeon in the first place. Also, 1 emerald for 3 golden carrots without having to get here to the village is superb, and will not only help my own food supply, but the stock of our golden carrot shop, so maybe reduce prices in the near future. One of our big upcoming projects is a series of towers inspired by Oblivion around our nether portal hellscape. This is going to require a lot of blackstone and bricks, so I was mining out an entire bastion, as you do, and during my adventure I found a loot chest with a netherite ingot. I don't need it as I'm already completely geared, and we're on an SMP, so that means we're selling it. Capitalism, baby. I put it in the survival shop going for a diamond block, and I'm now using the left barrel for such random but valuable goods that I don't need. No one was buying saddles in the survival shop anyway, and as we have our deal for free saddles from buying candles in our other store, I just stuck all the saddles there. An important advancement that we need is Monsters Hunted, which is for killing all of the mobs in the game. We're quite close to completing it, and I think I know what mobs we are missing. One is the Ender Dragon, as I died right before the end of the fight when we all did it together on like the first week or so of the server that I've played on. And then we're also missing Strays, as I've never seen a snow biome. But we're also missing the Guardian and Elder Guardian. Those 2 mobs are found together, and as I mentioned in a previous video, my brother and I want to make a Guardian farm. As for future projects that we both need the Prismarine family of blocks, and that farm is the only way to mass amount them. Thankfully, this farm and advancement are tied together and can be worked on easily, as ocean temples can be found with maps, so I brought us up a cartographer. I converted him for good measure and got the Ocean Explorer map for only a compass. Next, it was time to meet up with my brother, InnocentNixon, to do the monument raid. Instead of just following the map and giving him the coords, we decided to adventure there together, and that meant bringing the cartographer along for the fun. This allows for a good server tour as well, as we sail out of New Pog City. Just past the city in the ocean and surrounded by icebergs is Philip's base area. The main thing he here has right now is a kelp farm. His area is really only just starting out and he needs to build more, but we can see the start of his base with the orange aesthetic of copper and acacia wood. Between his base and Nixon's base is Philip's creeper farm, which is now supplying the server with a rocket shop. And past the farm is Nixon's turtle boat and the upcoming pirate-themed village. We moved the cartographer into his first build, a birch and warped wood general store, and as my brother builds up the docks, I'll probably bring fishermen over as well to make the place a little bit more lively. As the server is on hard, we have to be properly geared up for a monument raid. I'm packing an axolotl for the first time ever to try out this new 1.17 battle mechanic, and we are at a tropical fish attainment alongside the typical TNT they use to blast into the monument and kill the Elder Guardian. I gave Nixon the diamond chestplate I found in the Bastion, as well as a free totem of Undying, as I'd rather have him help me than die in his pathetic iron armor. I also milked Billy, our goat overlord and deity, because yes, as his sole protector on the server, I have the right to milk God. At the monument, I deployed the axolotl and began encountering my first guardians of the SMP. Netherite armor really helps, but without a potion of water breathing, drowning is actually a really bad way of losing hearts, and the guardians were still a threat because of how hard they hit on top of that. I don't know what happened to the axolotl. I never got the advancement for teaming up with one, so I think it died. Hashtag goat gang. But we killed guardians ourselves, thus working towards the monsters hunted advancement. As I blasted my way into the monument, I thought it was suspicious that I hadn't gotten mining fatigue yet, but I didn't have much time to think as Nixon's totem popped, and I had to help him out. I scoured the monument with a torch for air trick, as well as blasting more holes into the monument, and was surprised that there was no sign of mining fatigue or Elder Guardians even like 10 or 15 minutes into the raid. As they generate with the structure, I was worried that someone had already been here and killed them, but because the monument was undisturbed, and the block bridges that I placed were the really first signs of player life in the area, I think something just glitched when the structure was generated, which is good as it made our raid easier, but also bad because rip the advancement. So it wasn't super successful, but now we have the cords and can come back to set up a farm, get all the prismarine which we could ever do. So hopefully we do that very, very soon so we can get started on those projects. On the server, we don't do a whole lot of roleplay. I'm just the player and the YouTuber, but I like to think about my character as a character in this world and the builds that we make as expanding this world and telling someone of a story. So let's discuss the lore of New Pog City. It's a weird collection of builds. You've got the traditional European medieval style in the Old Town area, but then you also have alien colors and designs, stranger things like my house, which is nether themed with the nether wart. Combine that with the obviously evil nether portal, the hellscape with the lava and the fire, and the blackstone honey meadery. This stuff's pretty evil, and I think would have come second, right? It's like encroaching onto the medieval territory. We have a modest but alien colored bluish, temple with an evil goat inside named Billy. I believe in the lore that Billy is the manifestation of an evil nether god, or some dark creature, who has influenced my player's mind to change the face of this medieval city and server and make it eviler, right? We have removed the original villagers from their old town homes and enslaved them in the futuristic and technological Tower of Farms. We have the Pit of Sacrifices too, where one of every life form in Minecraft must eventually go to meet the darkness, and this Pit of Sacrifices was ordered by none other than the goat himself. Our offerings today are a little bit fishy, but I think Billy likes sushi, so he won't mind. As we expand the city and build, not just in our area, but in other areas on the server, I will try to expand the lore to the best of my ability. Next up, I tried to get the Oh Shiny advancement, but the piglins just kept ignoring my gold. I eventually got it later on after trying to find more Bastion loot, but no more netherite ingots for me. As we rush around the server, I have to show off Philip's rocket shop, which is humorously inspired by the little rocket wagon from Kung Fu Panda that Poe used in the final fight with Tai Lung. The design's cool, but I'm just happy that we don't have to worry about rockets anymore. We can fly all the time now. Speaking of Philip, his base is far from complete, but I'm digging the color palette. It'd be a shame if someone needed the wax off advancement. I laughed for a good while after doing this, knowing that he'll see it go green. You might be wondering why I'm doing advancement hunting, loot hunting, and general adventure stuff like the Ocean Monument in this video. Well, I'm in the process of moving apartments and have a temporary setup, and a lot of boxes surrounding me, so it's not ideal to build complex or intricate things in Minecraft. Next week though, once I'm set up, I'm going to finally build the nether portal, as well as a new tower for our downtown skyline, so I am extremely excited. In the meantime though, we're doing various advancements like 2 birds, 1 arrow, which requires not sleeping and rounding up our good friends the phantoms. You could crossbow them out of the sky, but that'd be a hard shot, so I tried to capture them in boats instead to make lining up a piercing arrow all the more easier. Even with the boats though, it was still hectic and challenging as the arrow could break the boats or just only kill one of them. So I turned on hitboxes to try and get a better angle and idea of what I was doing, and this entire time I was just swarmed with these things, dude. Kinda why you hate these guys. So I had to resort to putting them in a boat and trapping them in a dirt box. It was a lot more painful than it needed to be, but it worked out, and we got the advancement, so I'm feeling like a professional gamer. All of this phantom wrangling, though, has made me want to do it again in the very near future. Even though it was painful, it was exciting. No spoilers, but I do have a phantom-related project coming up in the near future, and maybe in the next video if the towers are not as mega as I think they are. You know, Billy has corrupted my mind, and when I say corrupted, I mean enlightened me to the power of being the Nether King, when he tells me to sacrifice a cat to the void, and I go through with it. Listening to Billy's commands, I bred up a kitten and led it to the gates of hell, and I pushed without looking back. But the cat didn't die. As I was doing my villager trading, the kitten nudged me and scared me to death as I was the only one online, and it honestly felt like another player. This could not be the gameplay mechanic of pet teleportation, no, but a sign of unholy and blasphemous power. So I sacrificed the kitten a second time, but the living void regurgitated his body once again. Hell could not contain the adorable kitten, and I decided that Billy's demands were just actually impossible. So I snuck the kitten into my house, naming him Artorias of the Abyss, as he walked the void not only once but twice, while still only being a child. Billy might not be the biggest fan of me having another named animal around, but we'll see as time goes on. To compensate for my failure as a worshipper of the goat though, I sacrificed a specimen of pure iron to the bowels of hell. May this offering bring us many blackstone bricks and patience for the upcoming portal project. Our big projects are indeed coming up, but in the meantime, we'll do another small one. We visited my brother's base earlier, and we've been contracted to build a house to help expand his pirate town. As Philip's base was on the way, I was able to secretly scrape the green off of his copper and troll him harder by waxing it in an only slightly disturbed orange state, netting us another advancement. And now, let's build us our pirate vacation house. It's nothing too fancy, but it is very nice. The drip leaf decorations in the exterior are some of my favorites so far, and barrels just make everything look better. We live in our own base here on the server, but making a house in a foreign land is cool. It reminds me of the old school Minecraft days, where on like the Xbox I would just join someone's random world that I have nothing to do with and make my own house on it. And we did that all of the time with many random worlds back in the day in the Xbox, right? Inside we have a map of our city to look at whenever we stay here, and some cute little potted plant decorations. Overall, this house is just to add to the scale of the area, as he's going to need a lot of house-like structures and storage for the town to develop. And I think he's going to call the town Nassau, after, the real world place, and also after Assassin's Creed 4. That's a base game, by the way. But that's going to be all from me this week, though. Moving apartments is insane. By the next video, I'll have a new setup, and we will be building shit like crazy. So I can't wait to see you guys then.